Hi, this is Vicki Hyman with NJ Advanced Media. I am here with Craig and Carla with our Game of Thrones roundtable. We had a very exciting night, at least the last part of the episode. But I want to start off with what may have been the most controversial part of the episode, with the sacrifice of Stannis' daughter Shireen at the altar of, I don't know how to say the name, R'hllor?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go with that.
Now, I want to go on record saying I do not normally, approve of the burning of 10-year-olds at the stake, but in this case, I really didn't have much of a problem with it since it had been telegraphed the entire season long that this is what's going to happen, and then it happened. It's like, I don't really understand what everybody's so upset about.
I mean, yeah, like, I'm not one of those that is upset either. Like, I've been waiting for this moment. Not like waiting, like, I've
not
been
eagerly, but you know it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. There were way too many daughter bonding moments, and then all of a sudden, like, everything, and then Melisandre went up. When she said that, like, I was like, oh no, Shireen's gonna get sacrificed because Stannis is just that kind of guy. Like, he always had.
He has this higher calling, and I don't know whether or not he's a true believer in the Lord of the Light or he's a true believer in Stannis as king. I have a feeling it's the latter. But he knows that Melisandre can work magic, and if this is what it takes, well, this is what it takes.
Well, she hasn't been wrong. Like,
she hasn't been. Although
but she was a little
late.
Well, vague. Yeah.
And
but
also Stannis went from, I would say, most likely probably the favorite character, one of the favorite characters in this season, where he started to become endearing, and he was very sweet to his daughter, and said how he
had
saved
very good
her.
grammar.
And and he gave. I mean, it all came from her disease came from a gift that he gave her, and it was just so that whole bonding moment. And I guess all over social media keep reading, Stannis should be on the Iron Throne, all these other things, and then that just went the other way. And it was interesting that Stannis' right-hand man, who he sent to the wall, handed her a doll right before, wood carving of a, but handed her something right before he knew she was going to die.
Yeah. And he clearly knew he was being, although if Stannis sent him away knowing that Davos would, make it impossible for him to do this, and why did Davos, knowing that, leave?
I just don't think that there's any. He knows that there's no stopping him at that point. Now, if you've seen this season, every time that Davos has disagreed with Melisandre, he would say it and then casually step back because at the end of the day, he can only advise. And I think he realized that in the second season when he was jailed, or the third season, where he was in a jail for an extended period of time for letting Robert Baratheon's bastard child go. So I think that him standing on moral ground doesn't really. Him standing on moral ground, I think he kind of realizes that he doesn't have much wiggle room.
Or maybe he actually really didn't think that Stannis would go through with it. Maybe he's still a Stannis. Stannis is still his Manus, like he.
I just think that speech was just, he knew it was coming.
Yeah,
I even said as soon as he walked in and the way he said it and everything he was saying, either he thought, at first I didn't know if he thought he was going to be killed for disagreeing with Stannis so much, or maybe that happens as well, but at least something was going to happen.
So I'm just wondering what's Davos going to think now? Like, is Davos actually going to, like...
Maybe Davos will be like Sir Barristan and be like, well, forget these people. I'll go over to the other side.
Maybe this is Davos's breaking point after, being so loyal to Stannis for so long. Maybe, just like the audience, Davos is...
That'd be great. I'd love to see Davos team up with Dany and Tyrion and all my other favorite characters who are on the other side of the narrow sea. Well, moving on to the standout moment of the episode, the moment that Dany climbed aboard Air Drogon and flew out of the arena, leaving, of course, all of her most trusted associates in the middle of the arena, surrounded by Sons of the Harpy who had murder on their mind.
I was assuming after it went back, she doubled back.
Yeah, I know. It's like, hello.
Hashtag How to Train Your Dragon. Hashtag Game of Thrones. But it was definitely a very... It was awesome. I mean, because you've seen her try to touch the dragons multiple times, and she finally used the dragons. And you knew something was coming with this, the pits, the fighting pits, because it's been told that... I mean, I actually thought it was going to be the person that she married, that there was going to be something there. But then as soon as they killed him, it just shows that there is no controlling this crowd.
Well, do you think that he had any role to play in the whole massacre? Because he came in late. He's like, I had to make sure everything's in order. And I was like, oh, he was doing something, and then he got killed. The weird thing about that entire scene, though, was that the Sons of the Harpy were killing everybody.
Right.
They were killing masters. I mean, I actually didn't really notice them killing any slaves, but they were killing a lot of people in the yellow and the blue outfits. And I was like, what is going on here?
It was...
Yeah.
No, and it was interesting, too, that there were so many. Like, before we've seen it, and we were talking about how the first attack of them, we were, it was supposed to be this epic... like thing, like episode 4, usually something big happens, and we were both saying we're a little bit disappointed because we didn't get much from it. But then this one, they just kept coming and coming and coming. It seems like almost everybody was putting gold masks on and coming down. But it was a great scene. I mean, her flying away was. I wish she would have came back and swooped down. But I think they ran out of their CGI budget for this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of had a question though. Why is Tyrion up there so visible? In a public place when he is a wanted man in Westeros. I mean,
I think he's being surrounded by the Unsullied, and maybe I was going to say maybe his fame hasn't reached that far, but clearly they're kidnapping dwarves all over the place.
Aren't there people from Westeros like traveling and being like, hey, that is a blonde
looks
dwarf.
familiar,
But I think it's the same way if they've tried to kill Daenerys. When Daenerys wasn't really on the radar, and she still was obviously saved by Ser Jorah, but again, she saved again last night, which we finally realized what Ser Jorah was doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not that maybe we knew that was going to happen, but he just had that feeling. And Daenerys took his hand.
Yeah, with the Dragonstone.
Was it the dragon?
The Dragonstone. The
grayscale.
Whoops, sorry guys.
Yeah. So I mean, do you think that Jorah was spreading grayscale in Marine? Is that what he was doing, or I think it was the other hand that had the grayscale.
I hope so.
That was my first thought, but I was like, well, if she can ride a dragon, she's probably okay.
Yeah. Although I have to say, riding the dragon with those spines looked very uncomfortable to me. Sorry. That looked very uncomfortable.
She's going to have to build a saddle then.
Sorry. She does need to build a saddle, to say. So yeah, that was a moment that everybody was waiting for. Very exciting. It did actually. She had ridden away on Drogon before, although in the books, although not in a way that had as high stakes as this scene. So I thought it was really well done, and it really made up for the fact that the rest of the episode was kind of flabby. I mean, Jon Snow
didn't even say anything. They came back and they just kind of moped around.
I'm sorry. Hold on a second, okay? So they just come from the Hardhome massacre, and they're just kind of standing around, So yeah, there was like a horde of zombies that's like, I don't know, like 50 miles away.
And
nobody seems very upset about that.
And nobody has fought the Army of the Dead.
No.
And so like it's kind of like an interesting thing that nobody at Castle Black even comes up and says, even though, I'm happy you're back, like, hey, good job, you just saved all these people, I don't agree with it, but, hey, you killed a White Walker? Like, I mean, there's, like, no even...
excuse me, there were, like, 1,000 White Walkers there? I mean, like, you can raise the dead, they're right there, and nobody seemed very concerned about it.
But see, that was a timing thing to me, again. They did that first, it seemed like they just wanted to touch on it, so they didn't have to do it in the last episode, but... They got back to Castle Black like that. I would have thought they would have maybe done it in next episode, and then given them a little bit of time to travel, because I mean they had all those people in those boats, and then we looked it up. It was 100 miles, and then 100 miles.
Yeah, it's a long way.
It wasn't.
And excuse me, so Mace and Tyrell and Meryn Trant are just now landing in Braavos across the narrow sea. Narrow means it can't be that wide, right?
Right.
So they're just now landed. So the timing is off.
Maybe he had a lot of, I don't know. Maybe he they
made a lot of stops along the way.
Stops along the way.
And then another underwhelming episode from Arya.
Yes.
Nothing happened.
Oh my goodness.
Well, the one thing I am very concerned about is that they're adding this like weird sexual element to her. Basically we all think she's going to be killing Meryn Trant, and I don't think there's any need to bring in the underage pedophile sex thing into it. I mean, so we found out that he likes really young girls at the brothel. Okay, we already knew he was a bad guy. Didn't really help us out. We know that he wants a fresh girl every day, and so Arya is presumably going to be that fresh girl. Oh, yeah. Why do they need to add that element to the storyline? Why can't she just kill him?
I think they just needed something to track down, or I don't know. It just seems like so much extra and that it doesn't need to be in there. But I mean, I feel like this season has been riddled with
stuff like that,
scenes that aren't really necessary. And I mean, this last 2 episodes, you see, even the second half, they're leading you up to it. And the whole season, we've been saying, I wish they just condensed all of that. This
could have been like a 4-episode season. I would be fine.
Yes.
4 or 5 episode season.
And Dorne, hello, what a disappointment. I was promised like like everybody that I talked to about Dorne, I was promised like, you know, there'd be like these 3 chicks and they would be fighting and there'd be lots of drama and Dorne, and it has come to nothing. Nothing
There's
at
a
all.
prison, a
Yeah,
garden,
prison.
and 1 room.
I know.
That's
I know.
all we've seen
All
in Dorne. And
characterization
desert.
from this
Yes.
dance. Yeah.
I mean, it was beautiful. I think the palaces are gorgeous. I like looking at it. I like the costumes, but it's just very flaccid.
It was a very boring ending.
Yeah.
Okay,
Really
we're gonna send
boring.
Marcella back with Tristane, and he'll be part of this, and that's it.
And kiss the ring.
Yes.
Kiss the ring,
What-
and then.
It was funny when they brought up what's his name, and he got hit in the face.
Yes,
I guess that was
okay,
the
and
only
that's supposed to
redeeming
be
part
funny.
of that scene. It was the only redeeming part
Okay.
of that scene.
Although it was wah, wah,
Yeah, exactly.
Dad,
Like
dad.
the sitcom
That was
joke.
Dorne.
I thought the biggest mystery to me, other than like why Bronn and Tyene were even like communicating at all, was at the end when Ilaria comes to see Jaime, and she starts comparing her relationship to Oberyn with Jaime's relationship to Cersei, which makes no sense because like Jaime and Cersei are brother and sister who have sex, and she is a woman who is not related to Oberyn who has sex. It's like completely different stories. What was the point of that entire conversation?
I don't know. I was so confused by all the Dorne scene. I was so underwhelmed. I'm so disappointed in Dorne. Like they really need to like either drop it next season.
Well, it looks like they're going to. They're going to go back to King's Landing with Marcella and Tristane.
And it was very,
Okay.
and he was so anticlimactic.
Yeah, like.
And he was and the one guy in the leader
Doran Martell, yeah.
was in a wheelchair,
Yeah,
which I didn't.
he has gout.
I guess I really didn't notice that.
Yeah,
on
he's
the
been in a wheelchair
previous,
the whole time.
But I just thought he was sitting, and then
Yeah.
you really
No, he's
you
in a
see it in
wheelchair.
this and that. But it's just very. There was just nothing really there. Like, it was so anticlimactic.
Yeah.
At the end of it, there wasn't even a debate. It was just okay. We're sending you back to. You know,
Yeah, I
King's
mean, they
Landing,
could have just sent a letter to Dorne saying, please send Marcella back. Okay. You know,
Right.
Tristane's going to come with her because they're betrothed. And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess it also does show that maybe that conversation at the end was the telling sign that everybody knows about Jaime and Cersei,
Yes.
and then when he returns, there's going to be an issue. That's the only thing I can see. But the problem is, then him returning, if he returns with Marcella, is the girl's name, and her betrothed, they come back. She's obviously going to be thrown in jail too because she is a.
Well, Jaime should be thrown in jail because he did the same thing that Cersei did,
Right.
although he didn't kill Cersei's husband.
Right.
So no regicide for him. Although he did do regicide because he's the one who killed the Mad King.
Right.
Yeah.
But he was also might have been involved with the killing of Robert
Yeah.
Baratheon. Which he was, because in the first episode he does say that.
Yeah.
And he was not in Robert Baratheon.
No.
In the Hand of the King.
Yeah.
He was in.
Wait. No.
Yes.
John
Jaime-
Aaron?
Yeah, Jaime Lannister admitted to that, so that could come up.
But I thought Littlefinger killed.
Littlefinger and
Liza killed.
and Lysa
Oh, no,
killed
I'm
John
sorry,
Aaron.
I'm sorry.
Not such a good memory.
Sorry.
2 points off.
I was thinking of. Okay.
Well, I think that about covers everything.
I think so.
We're going to have finally the Battle of Winterfell, hopefully next episode. So, you know,
How are they going to fit all? Oh, there's
think
so
it's
much stuff to.
Probably be the whole episode.
Yeah. Wow.
one can hope. One can
Yeah.
hope.
Let's see some Brienne. I'm
Okay.
missing some Brienne.
Oh yes, Brienne has been sitting there at the Hotel Winterfell waiting for the light to come on in the tower. Okay, yeah, she's been playing a lot of solitaire there.
with
Anyway, anyway, we have enjoyed at least the last couple of episodes of Game of Thrones, and we'll be back next week recapping the finale. So please join us then.